This is Hello World tutorial number 6. Within this tutorial, we're going to learn how to build a form, along with searching the reference guide for information about components. And then finally, we're going to be using the following tags: the table form, the text box, the label, the combo box, and the memo box. We will also learn how to save the form to a business object model and also to insert the business object model into the database. Let's start by going into the File Manager and selecting the test file. We are going to begin by creating a new commit set. Let's call this Hello World 6. At which point we'll directly go ahead and edit this file. We need to first import the required references. That's the reference to the text box. This is the reference to the label. This is the reference to the combo box. This is the reference to the memo box. And this is finally the reference to the table form. And I'm going to add these before the select or after the selected item. Now that we have all the references, we can continue adding a web part to add a movie. Okay, let's go into the web file. And now we're going to actually go into the add movie HTML default. And I'm going to add the table form, and I'm going to use the HR mode. This mode doesn't require an ID, and it simplifies some other things that we'll learn about later. I'm going to add the items. Now we're going to go into the items and add within first the individual items with the captions: name, we're going to set the number of rows for this memo box and set the number of columns. Now we're going to move on to another item. About caption. I'm going to call this year in the data, and then we're going to add a text box here, year underscore txt, and we're going to give it a size of 6. And finally, we are going to add the is active. In this situation, we don't want a caption. So because we don't want a caption, I'm going to use the no label tag. Using the data, we're going to run and get the checkbox. Okay, so now let's add all these tags. You'll notice that now They've been added, and we have the text box, the memo box for the description, the text box for the name, and the check box for the active. Now I want to add two more tags for the buttons afterwards. Instead of within, we're going to go after, and I'm going to add a break, which is in HTML. Then I'm going to add the button EV. So I have the save button with the caption of save, and I'm going to add the tag to enter the information for the save. I'm not going to add anything in there as far as code execution. Now I'm going to add the cancel, and same thing, I'm going to add the code execution here, but here I'm going to add some code. Realize I'm using the pound or the exclamation mark because this is within a code tag. Voila. Now the tags are added for the save and the cancel. And now finally I'm going to add the code for saving the business object. Oops. And this is go star.pound. And we're going to add within. And let's use, there we go, not the pound, the exclamation mark. Okay. Dim movie object as this will create a movie object. Now I can reference the movie object and set the values, and I'm going to set the isActive first equals isActive underscore chk dot checked. Then I'm going to set the name. I'm going to use the text property. Then I'm going to set the description. And same thing, I'm going to use the text property. And then finally I'm going to set the year. And I'm also going to use the text property. And then once all of that is set, I'm going to save the object to the database. As you can notice, now it's been added. We're going to add one other item here. And this is back web part. This will return it to the last web part. And you'll notice that's automatically added. So now let's save this, and we're now going to compile this. Let's view the debug. And now the latest one is going to compile. Let's wait for it to finish compiling. As we've compiled this, there's been an error. And I wanted to create an error so that you can take a look at how errors are seen here. You'll notice if you keep scrolling down, you can get the root of the error. File not found, table form. So that means we've referenced the table form wrong. And let's go back and fix that problem. It's pretty simple to fix. Now table form is referenced incorrectly because it should actually be referenced in Web 2. Now one of the other items that isn't referenced here, and I'm going to add, is the checkbox. Which is referenced in 1. There we go, we've got the checkbox. Now let's save the changes here, save the changes in this file, and again rebuild. And voila, we have the add movie, and you see the form. Now there's one error here, and I'm going to show you what it is. When you clicked on the checkbox, you don't see the isActive. And the reason why you don't see the isActive is because the checkbox properties have been set incorrectly. Let's go back into it and we'll quickly identify how they've been set incorrectly. Add movies. You'll notice checkbox. Let's go to the help, and you'll see it's the text property, and we set the caption property. So let's edit the caption property and set it to text. Save the changes, and then rebuild it once more. Okay, now we go to the add movies, and you see as active is there. We can put in a movie. 1980 it is active, and hit save, and it takes you back to the list. Now the list isn't showing up because we haven't put that and loaded the list in the movie list, which will be done in the next tutorial, Hello World number 8 actually, not 7. 7 is going to do form validation first. So let's continue, and this concludes that Hello World tutorial number 6.